Daf Yomi, Tractate Bava Metzia, page 69, Samach Tes, Amud Bey, 69b, top of the page with the words Kahai Gavna. In a case like this, it is certainly necessary to inform the litigant of the reasons for the decision. Although a judge is not always obligated to explain the reasons for his decision to the litigants, in a case like this, where there is room for suspicion, he must. Rav Papa explained, last year, when the other individual divided money, he did take the good coins and leave the deficient ones? The Samaritan said to him, no, he simply divided the money. Okay, it might be a good idea to go back and, because we were in the middle of the story, so it might not make so much sense. So we're going back now to the bottom of 69a. Last few lines with the words Ahani Tre Kutai. The Gemara relates the story. This is the beginning of the story. The Gemara relates that there were these two Samaritans who entered into a joint venture with each other. One of them went and divided the money without the knowledge of the other. They came for judgment before Rav Papa. Rav Papa said to the plaintiff, what difference is there? Meaning, what did you lose? This is what Rav Nachman said, money is considered as though it were already divided. It is not viewed as a single sum. The next year, these same two purchased wine together, and the other one arose and divided the wine without the knowledge of the other. And again they came for judgment before Rav Papa. Rav Papa said to the defendant, who divided it for you? You did not act properly since you did not get your partner's permission to divide the wine. The Samaritan said to him, I see that the master pursues me in order to harass me, since last year, when we came with what appears to be essentially the same case, you gave a different ruling in favor of the other. Rav Papa said, now we're on 69b, where we started, on the top, Kahai Gavna. In a case like this, top of 69b, in a case like this, it is certainly necessary to inform the litigant of the reasons of the decision. Although a judge is not always obligated to explain the reasons for his decision to the litigants, in a case like this, where there is room for suspicion, he must. Rav Papa explained, last year, when the individual divided money, did he take the good coins and leave the deficient ones? The Samaritan said to him, no. He simply divided the money without any particular consideration, and that was acceptable as there is no difference between one coin and another. Rav Papa said to him, with regard to wine, everybody knows that there is wine that is sweet and there is wine that is not sweet, so it is not equitable to simply divide the barrels evenly. Therefore I rule that you were not entitled to divide the wine without your partner's knowledge. The Gemara now returns to discuss the matter itself. Nachman said, money is considered as if it were already divided, and there is no need to actually divide it in the presence of both of them. The Gemara comments, this matter applies when he divided between good dinars and good dinars, or heavy dinars and heavy dinars, and as there is no need for evaluation. But if some of the coins were good and some were heavy, it is not permitted for him to divide them without informing the other party, as either one may have a preference for a particular type of coin. The Gemara relates, Rav Chama would rent out dinars at a rate of 1 peshita, in other words, 1/8 of a dinar, per day for a dinar. He viewed this as a rental of an item for use, rather than as a loan. Ultimately, all of Rav Chama's money was lost as divine punishment for violating the prohibition of interest. See 71a. The Gemara explains he did this because he thought, in what way is it different from a rental of a hoe? He viewed the money as an item that can be rented for a fee. But if that is not so, as the hoe it returns to its owner as it is, and its depreciation is known, but the dinars do not return as is, as the borrower does not return the same coins he borrowed, and their depreciation is not known, therefore this cannot be called a rental. it is a loan with interest. Rava said, it is permitted for a person to say to another, here are 4 dinars, go and lend money to so-and-so. Even though the lender earns a profit from the loan, it is not prohibited because the Torah prohibited only interest that comes directly from the borrower to the lender, but not that which comes via a third party. And Rava said, it is permitted for a person to say to another, take 4 dinars for yourself and tell so-and-so to lend me money. The Gemara explains what is the reason for this. It is permitted because he takes payment for talking to the lender, as these 4 dinars are a fee for the brokerage in arranging the loan. This is similar to the situation where Abba Mar, son of Rav Papa, would take pans of wax from wax manufacturers and tell his father, lend them money. The sage said to Rav Papa, the master's son consumes interest, since the wax he receives is payment of interest for the loan. Rav Papa said to them, we may consume any interest of this kind. It is totally permitted, as the Torah prohibited only interest that comes directly from the borrower to the lender. Here he takes payment for talking, and this is permitted. New Mishnah. One may appraise a cow or a donkey or any item that generates revenue while it eats and give it to another to feed it and take care of it in exchange for 1/2 the profits. With the one who cares for the animal benefiting from the profits it generates during the period in which he raises it. Afterward, they divide the profit that accrues due to appreciation in the value of the animal and due to the offspring it produces. In a place where it is customary to divide the offspring immediately upon their birth, they divide them. And in a place where it is customary for the one who cared for the mother to raise the offspring for an individual period of time, before dividing them, he shall raise them. Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel says, one may appraise a calf together with its mother or a foal with its mother, even though these young animals do not generate revenue while they eat. The cost of raising the young animal need not be considered, and one may inflate freeze the rental fee paid for his field, and he need not be concerned with regard to the prohibition of interest, as the Gemara will explain. Gemara, the Talmud says, the sages taught, Tanam Rabbana, we learned in the Brisa, one may inflate the rental fee paid for his field, and he need not be concerned with regard to the prohibition of interest. How so? In the case of one who rents a field from another for the price of 10 kor of wheat per year, and the renter says to their owner, give me 200 dinars as a loan, and I will use it to cultivate the field, to equip it by fertilizing it, and hiring people to work in it, and then I will pay you 12 kor per year, in addition to returning you 200 dinars. This is permitted, as the 200 dinars are viewed as a joint investment, improving the field with the owner providing the capital and the renter providing the labor. The higher rental fee is therefore paid for a higher quality field, and not as interest on the loan. But one may not inflate the rental fee paid for a store or a ship. The renter cannot borrow money from the owner to purchase merchandise to sell in the store or transport in the ship, and in return increase the rental fee. That is considered a loan with interest. Rav Nachman says that Rabba bar Avu said there are times when one may inflate the rental fee paid for a store, such as in a case where one needs money in order to paint a design on his walls, or in the case of a ship where one needs money to fashion a new sail. The Gemara explains it is permitted when the money is borrowed to invest in a store in order to paint a design on its walls, but because people will want to come to the more attractive store to purchase, and the profits are thereby increased. Similarly, it is permitted when the money is to be used for a ship to fashion a sail, because the profits from the use of the ship are greater since the sail is improved. Therefore, in these cases, the arrangement is an investment similar to the case of a field and not interest. Since the subject of a ship was raised, the Gemara mentions a related statement of Rav. Rav said, for a ship it is permitted to conduct a transaction where someone pays rent for the use of the ship, and is also liable to pay for any damage caused to the ship. Rav Kahana and Rav Ashi said to Rav, if he receives rent then he should not receive payment for damage. And if he receives payment for damage, then he should not receive rent. As if the ship is the responsibility of the renter, it is a loan, and if he pays rent for such a loan, it is interest. Rav was silent, and it appeared that he could not answer this question. Rav Sheshes said, "What is the reason that Rav was silent? Did he not hear that which was taught in a Braita, even though the sages said that one may not accept a guaranteed investment from a Jew, meaning one may not accept from a Jew animals to raise and receive 1/2 of the profits while also accepting full responsibility to pay for the initial value of the animals in the event that there is a loss, as this arrangement is deemed a loan with interest. But one may accept a guaranteed investment from Gentiles because there is no prohibition against paying them interest. But nevertheless, the sages said, if one appraised a cow for another to raise and to divide the profits, and the one accepting the cow said to the cow's owner, your cow is evaluated for me at 30 dinars if I do not return it to you, and I will pay you a selah per month for the use of it. This is permitted because he did not make it a matter of lending money." The Gemara asks rhetorically, and did he not make it a matter of lending money? He most certainly did, as he obligated himself to pay for the cow if he does not return it, making the transaction into a loan, and therefore the payment of a selah per month should constitute interest. Rav Sheshet said, it means that he did not make it a matter of lending money while the cow was alive, meaning that he did not obligate himself to return this specific sum to him if the value of the cow decreased, but rather agreed to pay the set payment of 30 dinars after its death. Therefore, the transaction was not a loan, and the monthly payment is not interest. According to this Braita, the halakha should be the same in the case of a ship. Amar Rav Papa, Hilchasa, Sfina Agro Pagra. Rav Papa said, in fact, the halakha is that in the case of a ship, it is permitted to collect rent and payment for damage.